Alrighty, welcome back. I'm your man, Bad Chad, and Queen Jolene's on the camera, and it's Friday. We're working on the car today. We managed to get it out from the big shop, got the tractor going, got some snow moved, got the truck hauled out, got the car hauled in, found some spare tires to roll it in. It was quite a job in itself. I've started to tear it apart. I got it jacked up in the air, started to tear it apart. What I mean by tear it apart is get the interior out of it. It was filled. There's a garbage bag behind Jolene, and there's a garbage bag started there with mouse turds, rat turds, just mouse house. It was just kind of litter and that sort of stuff. But I did manage to get it cleaned out. It was an archaeological hunt, they call that. I did find a knife. I found a knife, and I kept this too. I found a Canada Dry box for, you know, the old pop cardboard box there. Found that. I discovered that the exhaust on the car was made out of a piece of copper. Never seen that before. But you know what happens? They use what they need to use to get it done, and there's a piece of copper from the front to the back almost. It did not rot or anything like that, and I'm thinking they probably made their own bend to put the exhaust on it. I'm not sure if that, I don't think that would be an original thing. The muffler was full of a mouse house. What else can I say? What else did I find? All the hubcaps were there. The seats are quite mouse housed up. If Jolene wants to come around and follow me for a second, that's a bag of mouse house stuff there. The interior is littered. That's all mouse house, or whatever you want to call it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 holes they chewed in that seat for some reason. I guess they might have been hungry. There's a couple of holes in that seat. They chewed into that one. They give her. Let's face it, it was in the building there for 50 or 60 years. But a pleasant surprise is if you want to check out the inside. Before I show the floor of the car on the inside, if anybody wants to buy the car and restore it, you probably should contact us and let us know. A $10,000 bill. If you want the car and you do not want to see it get a haircut, and what I mean by haircut is just to come down a little bit, you get a hold of us, you send us $10,000, and it's yours. That's all I can tell you. If you want it that bad, you feel like it needs to be rescued, we can let you rescue it. But before I tell you that you can buy it, I'm going to tell you this. To get the engine rocking and rolling and to get brakes on it, you're probably looking at a couple $1,000 just to get brakes on it and get the engine rocking and rolling. Because you're going to have to take the whole system apart, no doubt in my mind. Most of these old cars can be fixed and honed and dealt with. But the master cylinder will probably have to be honed out. The wheel cylinders will have to be honed out. So all have to come off. They'll all have to be unseized, no doubt. I'm not sure if they're seized or not, but it all have to have all new brake lines. You have to have new flex lines. You'll have to have, I'm not sure what else you'll actually need on this car for brakes, but I'm thinking a couple grand for the brakes and to get the motor tillevating again. Once you get the motor tillevating, you probably want to change the oil. You'll need a new battery. You want to check the radiator. You probably want all new belts on it. You'll probably want all new spark plugs on it. You'll probably want new wires on it. You'll probably want a new points and condenser with it. You'll probably, if you can, you'd want a new cap. So you're probably looking at another $1,000 worth of material. To get some glass put in it, you got both the front windshield is broke. Put glass in it, you're looking at $200, $300, $400. You got the back glass that has to come out. It's got a bunch of rust around it. You want that out. You got a piece of side glass there. So we'll say $500 to $1,000 just to get your glass replaced and put your rubbers in it. To put an interior in it, I've known for a fact. I have had friends that had an interior done on a 4-door car, and you can go up to as high as $35,000. I know it's hard to believe, but I know people that's been charged that much money for an interior. I would never ever pay that because I feel like I could go into a furniture store and buy every couch that they have for that much money. No problem whatsoever. But to put an interior in this, you're looking at an easy $10,000, probably, no doubt in my mind. To put tires on this car, you're probably looking at another $3,000 to $4,000. To probably paint it, if you wanted to paint it, you're probably looking at $20,000. If you want the whole thing done from head to toe, inside out, you could spend easily, if you're going to tear everything apart and put everything back together, I could see yourself running up to anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 to restore this car. Easily. $50,000 to $100,000. And then you buy the car, and when you got it done, would it be worth the money that you've spent on it? Or, you have to think about it, could you go buy one that's already done cheaper than it would cost to restore this? So, letting you know that, if you want to send me $10,000 and save it and do whatever you want with it, you're more than welcome, but you better make sure that you're in a hurry, because, you know, the next day or so, I'm going to give it a haircut, and I'm going to go from there. For me, I'm going to try to do it as cheap as possible and try to do a lot of it myself. I might bring someone in to help me with the mechanical part of it and that sort of stuff, but the body work I'm not going to do. The interior work I'm not going to do. I'm probably going to try to use what's there. I'm not going to change any engine or anything like that. Probably trying to use what's there if I can, and that's what's going to happen. But right now I'm going to show you what I got done on the inside. It's quite something else on the inside. I have one hole in the whole car. The floor has no holes in it from front to the back seat, even up by the floor in the front where your feet go all the time, where the water would be. There's no holes up in there, not whatsoever. We get all the rubber ripped out. It's kind of rotten, but all the rubber's ripped out, all the insulation ripped out. We haven't got all the house turds out of it yet, but they're on their way. The chassis looks really good in this car. On the trunk, I'll put that up here like that. I leaned on it and it cracked. I got that right there on the whole car. That's the only place that has any rot in it. No, sorry, come back here a second there, sweet Jolene. My sweet Jolene, she woke up at 7 looking like a 10. Got a little bit of rot going on in there. We got probably a little issue going on in there. But that's basically the end of the rot. Even the trunk lid is not rotten on the underneath. Look, the trunk lid looks good all the way around. Jimbo's fixing an Oldsmobile 56. Nowhere near the shape of this car. The time that he spent on that car, you have to realize that it costs money when you're paying somebody. The lips on the bottom of the doors, they all look good. Lips on the bottom of this door, all looks good. This is the passenger side. Let's go over the drive. Also, the running board comes out like this. This is a piece that bolts on to the running board. So this piece will probably get taken off. I can take this piece, this little strip right here, take that off, and put a new strip on, and the running board is still in excellent shape. All the body mounts are good on it. We come over this side. All the lips on the bottom of the doors are fantastic on this side. See all the lips? Jolene's got nice lips. We got door bottoms on this side. All look good. No holes whatsoever on the floor on this side. Just the piece in the back. It's quite amazing when I pulled it all out. It was quite a mess. I had to have a mask on. It was kind of whatever. They must have replaced the water pump at one time. Found that in the back. I found a little tiny piece of, I'm not sure what that is, probably a transmission cover or something. I have this little rack here. I think it bolts onto the running boards, which holds something, like hold your luggage or whatever. Got an extra wheel. Got the 4 hubcaps that are back here. Just put the 4 hubcaps there. Got the crank bar. Goes up through the bumper and goes into there. Got that. So this car is pretty complete. I don't think it's ever been really ripped apart. I'm going to start taking out the back seat. I'm going to take a little bit apart. I'll go for a little while. We'll take a little bit off, and then I'm going to start marking out where I'm going to give its haircut. Also, I found that piece. It was broken when we bought it, and I was kind of like, it's too bad it's broken. But there's that piece right there. Now that I look at it, it's broken off there. I see a little tiny hole in the front of it. This is how I'd fix it. I'd drill a bigger hole through that, and I'd drill a hole into that, and then I would glue something inside there and stick that on and make it hold that again, so it would fix it, or glue it in there or whatever. That's what I would do. I'm not sure if that hole's there for a reason, but that's how I'd fix it. I'd drill a hole all the way through that, put a hole into that, and I'd shove that bad boy back on, and that's how it would go. But what I'm going to do, just going to tear the back seat out of it, tear a little bit of the garnish moldings out of it. Got to have the garnish moldings off to cut the roof off it. On a four-door car, it's probably one of your hardest chops is a four-door, because you haven't got one door to deal with. You've got two doors to deal with, two posts to deal with. You've got a B pillar and a C pillar. So it's generally twice the work. I've been looking at it. Also, with this car, the hinge is up top. So really, like, that hinge has to go back. That's another amount of work. There's a hinge on top of this door. That has to go back, because we can't have just one hinge on the car door. So there has to be a little bit of figuring out there to make that hinge system work, and I'm going to go over it with you as we go. But I'm going to take a screwdriver right at the present moment. I'm going to pull the back seat out. The seats were somewhat hard to get out, but in the end, I just took my time and figured it out. I got 3 different flathead screwdrivers, and I've been going for it. So on the seats, generally, you can I think that screws into the wood. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking that's what it is. I tried to pull it out earlier. It did not come out. You can see all the wheel wells in this car are not rusted. It's just really hard to believe. Like, it really is. I wasn't quite expecting it to be that good. I'm feeling like with all the mechanicals done on it, you really could run this car I'd like to take this piece here and the fenders, I'd like to get them off, to bang them around a little bit, to make them the best I could make them. And I feel like if I got them off, I'm going to get a smaller screwdriver for that. If I got them off, then I could bang them around and try to make them that. I could make it a little bit better if I got them off to get something like that. But then again, it might be best if I just took the wheel off and banged them around, because the car would hold the fender. I might be mistaken, just because I might be mistaken, because the car might hold them for me, where if I take them off, then they're going to be awkward to hold and deal with. I think that's just screwed into a piece of wood. I'm hoping that pulls the back seat out. The headliner, I'm not sure if I'm going to pull it out or not. Reason being is, I like to have I could put it back in, but it's pretty stinky looking. Like it's infested with probably some mouse poo or mouse pee. It's infected with that sort of stuff. Probably not the best thing that it should be smelling, but I did get most of it out. None of the top of the wheel wells are rotted out in this car at all. Like up in top, you figure that would be rotten up in there, or a little bit, but it's really surprising what's going on with this car. My plan is to knock the roof down, just give it a little bit of a haircut. Jolene kind of talked me into, generally when I chop something, I chop it quite heavy, and the reason because I want you to know that it's been chopped. But where we did Ken's car, Jolene asked me, can you keep this chop classy? And I can, for Jolene. Well, that's what you'd like, isn't it, sweetheart? Classy. She smiled at me. She grinned. I just love her. She got a great smile. She got a great smile. Good morning, Australia. Good morning. So I'm going to take this off. We'll talk about the chop here in in a minute or two. We'll just get a little bit going on here. Get the back seat out. This stuff takes time to empty something, empty the guts out of something, especially when it goes to getting the seats out and that sort of stuff, because you don't know how to get them out. I did end up cutting 2 bolts that were, I didn't have to, and I kind of like, I didn't want to, or I didn't have to cut them, but I did, and I did. Sorry, sweetheart, it kind of went at you fast, didn't I? So, I'm hoping that the back seat comes out. I don't know, I'm not sure what this is about, like the canvas part here, because it looks original. I'm not sure what it's about, but oh, that's what it was. That's how it comes out. Would you? Just looking, just looking. Not sure of a lot of things, but the interior, I probably, where I'm going to try to keep the patina on it. It's full of mouse house, that's for sure, and everything seems to be rotten. Excuse me, sweetheart. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there, but I'm going to make sure I keep it and look after it until I'm ready to do something with it. You can see how, how full that is. 1 hole, 2 hole, 3 hole, 4 hole. They really went for it. They did so. But that's what they do, isn't it? They work. That's what they do full time, is work. Alrighty. You can see how I've got mouse house everywhere. So it's kind of something. Probably should put some gloves on. Mouse house up in there. I got to get this stuff off. I'm going to try to take these Garnish moldings off. I could leave the headliner in it because I'm not going to go up there far with the saw, but the Garnish moldings should come off. We'll get in there, see if we can't get them off. Probably a $20, $30 piece of copper there for the exhaust. Now this stuff has been in here been on for a while. See what happens. Oh, geez, that come out nice. All this stuff that I'm taking out should go in a bag and write Garnish molding. All the screws or anything you take off a car, put in a bag and mark it. And the reason being is I've taken a car apart and not done it, and what a job it is to figure out what's going on. Like, where does that go? Where does this go? Well, if you put it in a bag and you write it down on it, in all honesty, like these screws, I could just tape them right to the Garnish molding instead of getting a bag, but that's probably what I'll do. Probably the first time that Garnish molding's ever been taken off. Haven't got it off yet, but ooh. Not sure, I must have a clip or something. Come on now. Hey, there we go. Now, what's that, sweetheart? You got the bag right there? What I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of tape and wrap them around so that I can't mistake it. You're going to grab me a piece of... Wonderful. Now, these screws, if you go to a car and you have not got, say, a flathead or a Phillips, which is a cross, if you have not got them kind of screws in your car, well, then you know they have been changed. Like if you see a Robinson in a car, there's no Robinsons in a car. Robinson's is a square head. You do not see them in car builds. So if you notice that the screws are not a flathead or a Phillips, well, then you know it's been messed with. And it's always nice to have all the right screws in the car. even when you get your car fixed at the insurance company. Look around at the trim, have they put your trim back on, and put the right screws back in it. Jolene, not Jolene, but take this off. I need a screwdriver. Take this one off. They have a screwdriver there. So we got all the right screws, we put all the right screws back in it. That's what I'm thinking. A little bit of tape going on there. Not sure why that window's not fitting the way it should, but it's not. It's nice that all the screws are coming out. Like, I don't think these ever been taken out before. Not sure if the windows will get replaced in this or not, but a lot of these, the side windows can be reused because of, we're just coming straight down. We're not changing the shape of the window, so we'll just roll the windows down when we chop it. This window here might have to be changed. We'll talk about the back window. Sort of went over it in my brain, what I want to do. Come on, baby. Not as easy as you think sometimes. Just because you get all the screws out doesn't mean it's coming off. Tape all the screws up together. If you want to throw the screws in a bucket and go fishing later, you will probably kick yourself in the ass, because it takes so much time to find what you're looking for. If you've got them plunked right on what you need or what you're doing, it's way better. Believe me. The reason I know is because I've done it. Just take that little bit of time and put them in the right spot. Not taking the back ones off because I'm not going to do anything there, I don't think. I probably should, but yeah, I'm going to take them off. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's probably in the rubber itself. Okay, we'll just leave that for a minute. We'll take some side ones off. See if we can't get all the garnish moldings off. Then we'll talk about how I'm going to chop it. Ugh. And if someone wants to buy it, I'm just getting the garnish moldings off because you have to change some glass. You know what I'm trying to say? So if you feel like you need to save this car, it's here. I actually feel like I'm saving it, but I'm just gonna do it my way. You want me to move that for you, sweetheart? Damn thing. I wasn't expecting a piece of copper for exhaust, but expectation leads to disappointment, if you don't know. I'm not disappointed, but just, I didn't expect it. Got the sill plates off. Only had to cut one screw off. That was quite amazing. Had Dan Barkos in this morning. He said, "You'll never get that out." And then when he said never, you know what I said? Watch me. And that's what you should say too. If someone says you can't do that, say, watch me. That should be a motivator, that's for sure. You can't do that. Watch me. Now. Things are probably stuck a little bit. Ugh. Check for some screws. I'm going to take I'm going to try to save the interior. Not going to go. Not going to try to do anything with the interior. Just going to try to take this piece off. We'll tape this bottom piece off because I'm just thinking about leaving it there, clean it up the best I can, maybe and then go from there. Oh, got one screw on it. That's why she's fighting me. That's how it goes. Look at that, come off easier that time. Down. All right. Beautiful. You are, gently. Absolutely gorgeous. So that takes the interior right off with it. That's a good thing. Actually, the material is wrapped on the garnish molding itself, so it had to come off with it. I'm going to take these. Right there. Put screws on her. This has to be done. Ken did this to his car at the show at Toronto Motorama. So when I walked in, Ken was actually working on the car, tearing it apart, and I was kind of thinking, wow, is he going to get all the interior taken out of that and us get that chopped? But it happened. But he probably really had to work to get all that interior out. It takes time to take it all out, that's for sure. I've been at this morning trying to get the seats out of it and that sort of stuff. It hasn't been probably dealt with in many of years, probably all of its life, but it takes time to get that stuff done, and the interior has to come out of your car to chop it. It doesn't have to, I guess. You can ruin everything if you want to, but it's probably best that the interior comes out of the car. Just going to slide that back inside. Go for the next one. Screws missing. Screws missing. So we know, some investigation, we know someone's done some work there. And I know someone's done the work there because I took the window, I just wind the window down, and that window didn't even fit this hole. So the window was broken this side, and they tried to shove a piece of glass in it to repair it for the time being. And I know, because the screws are missing. And we also have some different screws that are in this piece. They're not the right ones. So when you're looking at your car and you want to buy a car, you're taking it or investigating it, it's always nice to look at the screws to see what's going on. Now, you can see I got a long one, I got two short ones with bevel heads on them. They're not the right screws for that. So what can I say? It is what it is, and that's all it can be. So on this car, the exhaust. Now I would never scream and say, oh, why they put that piece of copper on there? Well, I know why they put that piece of copper on there for the exhaust, because they wanted to keep the old car running and put an exhaust on it as cheap as possible and use what they had to keep it going, and that's what they did. So when you get a car and you see maybe something that is not up to par that you think is up to par for fixing a car or whatever, it's pretty hard to knock it because they were just using what they had. I'm gonna mark those, which ones they are. I know which ones those are, but I won't have to mark those. No, not at all. Okay, we're going to go to the other side. They use what they had to keep her rocking and rolling. That's what I find with most repair, that people use whatever they got. I'm just going to roll down all the way. I'm going to go to the other side and check it. It might be down far enough for the roof chop. It might. I just wonder if it had a... I can't see that being done way back then, but it would only come down that far, that glass. So we can only come down. That's the way it was. Look at that now, would you? Child protection glass in the back. back in 1936. You can't roll the windows down the new car, can you? All the way in the back sometimes. Child protection. Oh, we've got one screw missing here. It's telling me that someone's been in here messing with something. And that's okay, because I'm messing with it. You can see this one's got like a round oval head on it with a flat screw. We got one missing there. It's quite amazing that I can pull the screws out of a 1936 Hudson airplane, pull the screws out of it, no problem. I took the bolts out of the seat, no problem. Amazing. So all this stuff will have to be chopped also to put back on, and we'll do that when the time comes. I could get a bag and throw all the screws in it, but if I just tape them up and I throw the screws on this, tape them there, then I know the exact screws that come out of the hole. I think all the windows have had a little bit of something going on. It was in there kind of crooked. Now, no screws in here and no screws up in there. So, in all honesty, I should be able to cut these, put the bottom on, screw the top on, and weld it back together. That's how easy the garnish molding should be able to be done. There's no screws that I'm going to have to change, no nothing. I'm just going to have to cut out the piece and then put them on. So I'm not positive about where I'm going with this yet. What I've done a little bit of investigation on the internet. Me and Jolene looked at them on the internet. There's one on there that's a panel truck, I guess you would call it. It's white and with black fenders. I really enjoy the look of that. Not sure if I want to go through that much work to get that. Like it's kind of a different style. The back is flat. It's got a rake on it. I really like it, but I don't know if I'm going to go there or not. So when I chop this one, I'm probably going to, I'm going to keep it classy for Jolene, because Jolene's classy. She wants it classy. And what she means by classy, don't take it down too far. Make it look like it could have been. So when I chop it, take it down, the back doors, obviously, it's a 4-door, obviously. You know, I can close off the back door and the back window there and make it look like a sedan delivery, I guess you would call it. What's that? I can draw it, sweetheart. I can. I'll tape this up and then we'll go for it. Haven't got a marker on me. What's that? Let's mark on that. Let's take a marker. One on the internet. don't know, the front door's kind of got the fender vac too far, but that's okay. That's okay, you understand what I'm saying? Now we could close that off in the back and leave it just like that. Close this back window off here, close that window off there, delete them. So it would look like, obviously it would look like that. When you shut the door, I could delete these windows here to give it that effect there. So it would be like a two-door sedan or a two-door, what do you call them? I'm not sure. What's that? A panel truck, a panel delivery or something like that. We could close those off. But what we're going to have to do is I'm going to give it a haircut anyways. So we'll figure that out after I give it a haircut. I'm not sure if I enjoy, I like the back fenders coming down here. You know, I'm thinking I'd like to have something coming up here and then rake down, but that seems like a lot of work for where I'm going with this car. I don't think it's necessary. I have not got, or me and Jolene have not got a chopped four-door anywheres. I'm thinking that the four-door chop, if I can make it as easy as possible, make a few cuts here and leave the patina on it. Like I said, lower it to the ground a little bit, make a classy cut on it, maybe same as Ken's, 2 3/4. Instead of taking it down too much, we can make quite a hot rod, not to say a hot rod, but we'll make quite a little difference in the look of it. We're going to leave the original engine in it if it runs. We'll leave the original everything in it, whatever. We'll leave it whatever it's going to be like. We'll probably end up, like I said, taking the fenders off and doing some repair, taking all the dents out, fixing that sort of stuff, pulling it off, get that all done, get that geared up, make it better. Piece is not pretty. I'm going to pull that off just for shits and giggles. Alrighty, I got one more garnish molding to take off. That's the front window there. I don't know if that's necessary or not. Let's mark it for the chop. Let's mark it for the chop. Just to go over it together. I sort of know, or think I know, what I want to do. I think I know what I want to do, and we'll just go over it together, and then that way there we can talk about it and see whether way you would do it. I'm going to get the other doors shut. Alrighty, Jolene wants a classy chop. So the classy, I guess classy means, what's it mean? It means that you would be hard pressed to know if it was chopped. Went and bought some tape today, $17 and some cents. $17 and some cents for a piece of tape, for a roll of tape. Yeah, but it is what it is. I need it. So what I'm thinking is we're going to do the 2 3/4. When I chop this car, we must realize there's a hinge there. And there's no other hinge. There's no other hinge. There's a hinge right there for that door. There's a hinge up there for this door. No other hinge. So that hinge has to go back on the car. Like it has to, it has to go back on the car to open and shut that door. When I lower it down, this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to put my chop in the straightest place possible, like this, the straight place, straight. So when it comes down. It'll be straight down, and that'll be it. When I bring it down, in order to know, I've been looking at it, when you look at it, so that's probably what I'm going to chop it, probably there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to go there or a little bit more. I'm not sure. I can add another piece of tape. That just gives it. I'm not sure what that equals out to, but that's what you would do. That's how you would chop it if I go all the way around that way. But when I look at the door, or if you look at the door, it's, pull this back for a second. Actually, you can tell if you come here and look at this side, it's narrow up here and it gets wider here. Can you see that? See how it's narrow up there and wider there? So when I chop that piece, when I chop this piece out of here, and I bring it back down, I'm thinking that I can't, when I bring that hinge piece back down, because it's the exact same thing on this side, the door's narrower here, and it's wider down here, I cannot bring that back out and flush that up. What I'm looking at is on, if you look inside the inside post here, when I chop that piece out and bring it back down, I'm going to make sure the inside lines up, because that's a straight line. That way there, that hinge is going to be in the right place to work with this door. So when the roof gets knocked off, when I take that tape out of it, when I take that piece out of it, you can see how there's a difference. It's narrow up here and then wider down here. Wherever I take it, it's wider here than it is up here. But when I bring that back down, this straight line right here is the line that I'm going to weld, make sure. So the outside is going to be out just a little tiny bit, and that's fine, because I'm going to put a little filler on it, whatever. But what I'm saying is, to get that hinge in the right place, when it comes straight down, I'm going to line this post up instead of the outside post, just so the hinge is right on the door. I'm going to have to do the exact same thing on the back door. You can see on this door that it's narrow up here. So if I cut that much out of it, it's narrow up here compared to here. So if I bring that down and match the outside up, that hinge is going to be out too far. So when I cut it down, I'm going to make sure that I line this line up, because you can see it's got a 90 all the way down. That's straight. So I'll line this up and I'll deal with the outside after. I'll weld it up, no doubt in my mind, or positively. But I'm going to make sure that I weld the inside and straighten that up first. So I'm going to go around and take, that's something that I've just noticed, where I'm cutting this 4-door, and I have a hinge up here. If the hinge was down here, I wouldn't care. I'd just weld it up there and make it fit on the outside perfect. But where I've got a hinge to deal with, then I have to think about that hinge, because it has to work with the door. And make it work right, I want to line the inside up instead of the outside, because the inside is the true line compared to the outside. So if the hinge was here, it'd be a different story, but it's up there and I'm going to have to deal with it. I don't feel like cutting up here and trying to do that, because the hinge would be gone. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm probably going to do, not sure, you can see the tape peeling off, not sure if the carves. But anyways, that's whether I go 1 2-inch and a 3/4 inch, or if I go, so that'd be 3.5 instead of 4. So if I did that much, that's 3.5. If I did it 2 3/4, 2 3/4. So I'm going to take that much out of this post. I'm going to take that much out of this post. When it comes to the front, these posts, when I cut this car off, it's coming back down on this post, and it's coming back down this post. That's what I'm counting on, just like I did Ken's. It come down just perfect on this one, come down perfect on this one, and then that way there will be on the money. When it comes to the front, I'm going to just cut the post out of the front here, just like on Ken's, and then I'll deal with that. Fina's bored with me, you hear her sigh. I'm going to cut the post out here, post out here, post out here, and we'll lean them back a little bit, because we got quite a lean going on there. Like I said, when that cut that much out of there, that post is going to come back here, and that post is going to be up here, so we're just not going to fit. So we're going to just cut the post out. When we put this back on, then we'll lean the post where it's supposed to be. We got a flat window, so it should not hurt anything. You got a lip there, you got a lip all the way around there. We're matching it back, so it should be fine. And then we'll do the exact same thing with this door top. When it comes time to knock the roof off, we will cut the top here. We will cut the top over here. We'll cut the door post off, cut that off, because this is going to have to stay on. We're got a hinge there. I'm going to end up knocking a piece of weld on here to keep the door top shut. We'll knock a piece of weld on here to keep this door shut and keep it with the top of the roof, because we want that to stay exactly where it's at. I have no problem with it. We'll knock everything so it stays in place, but we'll knock it off here. We'll knock it off here, tape to be down there, and then we'll knock this one off up here. When we go to the back, we got something different going on than we had with Ken's car. There's something totally different going on here. When it comes to this back piece, I've got that, as you can see, that back window, it's quite close to the trunk lid. So I probably could get my tape measure in there, or my tape in there, and it probably could, you know, like it's on an angle, it's going to be shy. If I drop it down in there, it's going to be shy. What I mean by that there is in further than that there. If it comes straight down, that does not line up. If I cut that out, this piece here to that piece there does not line up. It's shy. So when it comes time to the back here, I will take, I'm not going to waste that tape. I've got a little angle going on here. See a little curve going on here. I'm not going to cut that curve or anything like that, but you can see where that curve can come back together. Like if I cut it up here, or if I cut it up here and come straight down, you can see where them curves can come, because it's coming straight down. When we bring it down, it's coming straight down. So instead of me cutting and making a fumble jumble going on in here, I'm looking and seeing where I can cut it to bring them curves back together, if you know what I'm trying to say. I got a curve going on there. I'm not going to cut it off down here and then bring that down. No, I'm going to try to cut it on the curve where it meets the curve. So if I'm hoping that when that comes straight down, like that would almost match up. If I drop that down, it would almost come straight down to hit that. So basically what I'm saying is, so if I cut like that, if I take one piece of tape or two pieces of tape, what I'm looking for is I'm looking, if that comes straight down, is that going to hit that right there? Looks pretty damn close if I let it come straight down, because the post, we're going by the post. We're not going by anything else but the post. So if I drop that straight down, it probably could come down a little bit more. So if I drop that straight down, I'm thinking where I cut that and I cut that, it should almost match right up. And that way there, I'm not cutting that piece out and trying to do that. This angle right here is for this height. I'm not, you know, I don't enjoy having this same shape on a lower roof. This same shape shouldn't be on a lower roof. This shape here is for the bigger roof. It should have a smaller shape there for a smaller roof. So you're actually bringing this shape to this shape, which is going to make that a lot smaller there, to me. Whether somebody wants to cut that out and put that back in after and have that big shape with the little roof, that's up to you. But for me, I like a little shape there with the smaller roof. So I feel like this should change. If the roof is changing, so should that. I would never take this and cut this out and put that back in. To me, it does not. It is what it is. We'll go from there. You understand what I'm trying to say. So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try to, this is coming straight down. I'm going to try to put this point onto that point. And it's going to be close. If it's not right on the money, I'll tap it with a hammer, make it close. When I come to this back piece, I'm only going to cut so far. Like however far this needs to come together, or whatever's on the inside. There might be some kind of construction on the inside. But I'll only cut so far, cut my distance out of it. And then I'm going to cut the bottom line around. And the reason being is, when the roof comes down, I want to keep that length in case I can pull it out to weld to this piece. And I might have to stretch it a little bit. I might have to, you know, cut it, pull it out, and stretch it a little bit. What I mean by stretch it, if I cut it and I make it bigger, pull out to weld to this, then that's what I'll have to do. And then I'll have to weld that little seam back up. That'll be fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the bottom of this. So I'm going to cut a little piece out of this. I'm going to cut this out. And I'm going to and then I'm going to cut the bottom, because I want this extra metal to go down inside this metal, because this is coming straight down. I want that extra metal. I don't want to cut that 2-inch all the way out and don't want to do that. I just want to cut this out, take this extra metal, go down the side there in case I need it. On the trunk lid, I can't do what I did with Ken's car. There's no body moldings going on. There's nothing. What has happened is I've got hinges in there. I've got hinges right here, and I'm not going to mess with them. I've got a package tray right there. I'm not going to mess with either. I've got a little, I don't know what the pivot point right here for the hinge. Not going to mess with that either. I'm not going to mess with any of that because it's more work than I want to get into. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the window. I'm going to leave the window exactly where it's at. When I come around here, if you can picture it, I'm going to come around here. I'm going to cut that. We're cutting this much out of it, but I'm only going to go to here. So this is extra metal right here. This is extra metal, but I'm still going to cut it there. Then I'm going to go out like this. I'm going to cut straight up, all the way across the roof, all across the top of the window. I'll probably leave myself some. You know, probably cross there somewhere. Just drawing it out for you and I. As I'm talking it over with you, I'm going to come in here, cut it straight down here. We're going to come over here, and we're going to do that 2-inch thing there. So this is all extra metal comes down the side. We're going to cut our 2-inch out of here, whatever it is. We're going to cut that out, and we'll leave this extra. So if you can picture it, when we cut our top, cut the top of this off, cut the top of this off, cut the top of the post off, and the door. We're going to leave the door tops on and everything. We're not going to mess with any of it. We're going to try to make it as easy as possible. So all the door tops will be tacked. So I'm going to tack. Maybe I'll throw a tack there where I cut it off. I'll throw probably a tack on the roof there, maybe where I'm going to cut it off. I'll throw a tack on this one so it stays in place. I want all the door tops to stay in place. And the reason being is because this is coming straight back down and I want to weld it in place. When this comes back straight down, obviously this is going to come down here. This metal is going behind here. When I cut it up in here, this back window is staying because I'm not freeing any of that. This back window is going to stay. I'm going to cut it across top. So when that comes down, I'm hoping, I'm going to have more metal than I need up top. So that metal is going to come down inside the window. So I'm hoping, I might even have to cut it down maybe a little bit, I'm not sure. I'm hoping once this roof, this is going to be, because there's, you know, if I cut it off, there should be, you know, that much coming out of it. There's going to be excess metal once that comes down because of the post. So this excess metal from here, where I cut it straight across from here to there, is going down inside the window. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the window down on top of the roof and then weld the window on top with the excess metal that I have. When I do that, when I put that on there, then I can tack it, I can run a zip cut through it, and I can butt weld it right across the roof and make it fit perfectly in there without cutting the back window out. So, roof's going to come down. If you can picture it, roof's coming down. This excess metal here is going in here, going down here. This excess metal is going down in here. I might have to cut it up a little bit further because I'm going to have enough to slide that metal down in there, that back window. I might have to go up here somewhere to get that excess to go down inside all the way, because you can see where that's right here. The excess metal wouldn't go down in all the way, but I'm going to have a little excess metal up here. I'm going to shove that down there, put the back window down to the roof and weld it. When the front comes off, I fit the post back in. This post here and this post here is going to hold the roof in place. Then I'm going to come up here. I'm going to fit this post in, fit the post on the other side, and then fit the door tops on. Hopefully, I will have cut it as least as possible. Window has to come out. I possibly can leave that window, possibly. Run some tape on it. I can run up here because we're nice and straight above it. You know, we can probably get that there, no doubt in my mind. We could probably leave the window, but that back window has to come out. That back window can stay. I don't think it's something that you'd want to keep in it. I think you'd want to replace the trim going around it, the rubber trim going around it. But I feel like it's going to be fairly basic of what I got going on. Yeah, and that's what I think that's going to happen. And whether it does or whether it doesn't is another thing. So I'll put a piece of tape. Let's try it out. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. This $17 tape. Yeah. Straight going across there, is it not? garnish moldings will all be cut with same way. You want that much, or you want another piece? What's that? I'm kind of a guy that likes a hard chop, but that, to me, we're in the straight part there. We're below the curve, I think. That would be a nice, not sure. So that means the top of the door would be about here. Let's take a measurement, just show you for a second. Then you can adjust. We can pull one piece of tape off if we want to. But we'll just take a measurement, kind of see what's going on here. So let's measure it this way. Put my glasses back on. Get the old one. We're basically at a little better than 3 3/4. A little better. So top of the door will be right about there. I think that looks good, doesn't it? Top of the door, that'd be top of your window right there. Is that too low? Too high? Too low? Jolene's trying to make up her mind. It's not a bad look. That's the top. That'd be that door. It'd be right there. That's your window height right there. I'm just going to let go for a second. Keep. So your window would be. You have a 9-inch window. Probably close to a 9-inch window. That'd be that window right there. That part right there would be right there. That's a good looking. Don't you think? Sure. Well, we'll figure that out in the end. But basically, what I got to do is I got to run around and I got to get the front window out now. I got to get the rear window can stay. This piece of glass here, it needs to be popped out. Tempered glass, that's going to make a mess if I just smash that. It does not have a roll down. And I have to take out the garnish molding on the front window, cut that rubber out, get that one taken down, or taken out. That one has to be replaced anyways. Let's do the front window. Get it where we're going to cut it off the top, but we're just going to take it. I know it's going to be anyway. I measured it already. No sense doing that. Front window's kind of low anyways. So we got about 1 foot. So your front window is going to be almost 3 3/4. A foot. So you'd be 3 inches would be 10. No, 9. Subtract 3 from 12. There'd be your window there, about there. It's not a bad looking window, is it? No, right there. With it lowered on the ground. Hopefully, when we get going on this, we'll be able to, or I'm thinking about skirts. I'd probably make some skirts for that, but we'll see where we're going. Also, I like the idea of side mounts. We did some for the petroleum truck, or the gas truck. These cars have got that. This one does not, but you've seen me make them before. I don't think it'd be nothing to put something in there, piece of piss. Put a couple of side mounts on it. I'm thinking that the upper class ones are the ones that had the side mounts. But there you go, that's what I'm doing. And we are on air. Alrighty everybody, thanks a lot for coming back. I hope I explained that good enough where I'm going with it. So I'm just going to keep plunking away with the screws and pulling the garnish moldings out. And then we'll throw a little bit of tape on it. We'll figure out what we're doing. how much. We're going to go by tape. Not going to measure anything. We're going to measure a few things, but we're going to go with tape, and that way there it simplifies it. I'm thinking that I've got the less cuts as possible to make this rock and roll. The back window cannot come, well, it can come, no, it can and it can't. The only reason I don't want to bring it down because I'm going to have to mess with them hinges or the hinge mounts and all that stuff. I don't want to get in there and mess with that. When I pull the roof down, I can just lay the window down a little bit. We can tack it right back onto the roof, which I think will be hunky-dory. That can be whatever, yeah. Alrighty, like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you think you need to do. Thank you for coming back. I really appreciate it. And when we were in Australia, everybody had a, what are they called, koozies? We were at this place, Knotneck Garage. He had all the cool hot rods and the vintage race car thing there. But anyways, have a great day, everybody. Have a good Friday, and you come back tomorrow, and we'll probably be slicing and dicing. As long as I get all the stuff out of the car that needs to be done, we'll be knocking the roof off. Have a great day, everybody.